Hello, good day to you all. Today we would be discussing on a topic which is most discussed, frequently used, that is human rights. Very vital subject to be understood by each and every person. And before understanding what human rights are, we need to know what is a right. Right is a claim of an individual. It's a privilege an individual requires to lead a normal life in society. Without rights, it's very difficult for an individual to develop his personality and lead a comfortable life. Right can exist only in a state. That is why it's also said, a state is known by the right it maintains, was the statement given by Lasky. Life is not mere living, but living well, says Aristotle. In order to live well, he needs certain facilities, certain privileges and freedom. That is provided by rights. Everybody is free in a democratic society. He has all freedom. An individual can do whatever he wants, but without harming the interest of others. That's how Kalian says, everybody has a right to swing his arm until the other person's nose begins. He's free to swing his arm to the extent possible, but should stop when the other person's nose begins. So we have restrictions. We cannot harm the rights of others. Till then we can enjoy our rights. Lasky also said, rights are those essential conditions without which no man can seek in general to be himself at his best. Therefore, to develop one's personality, rights are very essential. It's a privilege in a society given by the state in the form of laws. And it has to be sanctioned by the state. And a right depends upon the social system, the value system of a particular system or a state, pertaining in a state. Therefore, we say rights are those privileges enjoyed by individual in a state, and it is most required. We have also seen the Dawkins concept, where he brings in the concept of rights as trumps, so that nobody can deny justifiably to act according to these rights. Therefore, rights are very, very significant in a democratic society, and it has to be given, provided to each and every individual. Coming to human rights. What are human rights? We also have these fundamental rights. Fundamental rights also are very basic rights which are very essential for an individual to develop his personality and to live with peace and harmony. And these human rights are those rights which are claimed for just being a human person. It's a right enjoyed by each individual by virtue of being a human person. It is inherent to each and every person the moment he is conceived or in the womb of the mother. Human rights has become very popular. It has to be taught to each and every person to empower oneself and also to provide the knowledge, to offer solutions to the problems one confronts in his life. Human right is a right where all men are born free and equal with dignity and rights. There is no distinction to enjoy this human right, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, race, whatever it is. Coming to this history of human rights, we can go back to Greece, Romans, Babylonians, Vedas or Mahabharata, the religious texts, and the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, the political discourse of America, France, and various conventions, Vienna Convention, Brussels Convention, and lot of conventions and conferences held, the League of Nations, various attempts we find, and also in the United Nations organization. The first attempt towards establishing this human rights, forming a comprehensive statement, we find in UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, under the leadership of Eleanor Roosevelt. The main reason and the driving force was the Holocaust of Hitler during the Second World War, which led to gross violation of human rights, devastation, damage towards humanity, where crores of civilians, warriors, and 75% of the Jews were butchered. After seeing all this, the world leaders joined together to work out some strategy to put an end to such gross violations. And that was brought under United Nations organization and the formation of UDHR under the leadership of Eleanor Roosevelt. And while forming this UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, all the representatives of the continents, religious leaders, and even Mahatma Gandhi were involved. And the first statement of UDHR says that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. And there are 30 articles in UDHR which speaks about the economic, political, social, and cultural rights. After the adoption of UDHR on 10th December 1948, it was set at a common standard of conducting oneself for all nations to protect human rights. And all signatory states had to follow this. But only in 1966, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights or Social and Economic Rights were made binding on signatory states, which became compulsory for all the signatory states to follow it. Then onwards we find almost all states forming its separate national human rights commission in their countries. Even in India also we have a National Human Rights Commission and also the State Human Rights Commission. So it was binding, and there was no other way that states had to follow these laws which were laid down by the international forum. And we have lot of NGOs to promote these human rights. We have Amnesty International, Asia Watch, Human Rights Watch, International Services for Human Rights, International Federation for Human Rights, and so on and so forth. Even there are various national NGOs and regional NGOs also promoting human rights. And if at all any of the statements which are mentioned, articles which are mentioned in UDHR is ignored or abused, then it amounts to violation of human rights, or if it is denied, that results to violation of human rights. And it has been the responsibility of the state to ensure that each and every individual enjoy their human right. And it is the responsibility of every person to respect the human rights. Live and let live should be the policy. And in order to form a better world, we should see that everybody has his share. When we dream of a better world, a progressive world, we have to see that we respect the human rights of each and every individual, and social justice cannot be established without respecting human rights or in the absence of human rights. As long as we do not respect human rights, we cannot dream of a better, progressive world. Thank you.